Belle and I were having a debate off air, and we had to stop ourselves because it's a much better debate to have on air, right? Look, I'm not saying that I'm right in every respect, or at least right for you. I believe that, I have my lines in the sand. I'm not suggesting that everyone can't think a little bit differently about these things. But if you walk it back, we all have some expectation of government authority over aspects of our lives that affect other people. I'm getting a lot of pushback. I just mentioned that I don't have a problem with seatbelt laws for the driver. Passengers, y'all are on your own because your existence does not impact the health and safety directly of other people on the roads. Just like I don't think that there should be laws against passengers drinking in cars. You're a passenger. You're not affecting the operation of that motor vehicle in any way.
I have an example, and I've had this example since the 80s. When Vince Neil got into the car accident that killed 3 other people. No, I'm sorry, killed 1 person and severely injured 2 other people.
Right.
The passenger, Razzle from the band Hanoi Rocks, died. Razzle was just as drunk as Vince was when he got in that car. So is it not Razzle's responsibility for getting in the car with somebody he knew to be intoxicated? Is that not a fair assumption?
I love this ask. So if I get into a car with you,
knowing that you're,
and I know that you're drunk,
yeah,
and then we get into an accident and let's say you injure me, should I have some sort of opportunity to sue you for your actions getting behind the wheel? I would say no.
I would agree with that.
I would say no.
I think Vince is responsible for the 2 other people he hurt, but I don't see him as responsible for Razzle's death because Razzle knew what was happening when he got in the Testarossa.
So I would ask, for those of you that are clapping back at me, you're low libertarian, you believe in seatbelt laws. Well, where is your line? Because I'm sure you have one. I would hope that you have one. Do you believe, for example, that it should be the government's authority to license drivers to ensure that they understand the rules of the road? And if you do, I would say, how dare you encroach on my freedoms? It's my business. If I don't know how to drive a car, that's up to me, right? That sounds silly, doesn't it? Do you believe in drunk driving laws at all for the driver of a vehicle? So we all have our place where we believe that it's time for the government to intervene and act for the greater good of society that demands that those actions take place. In other words, we collectively get together as a community or as a state or as a country and make determinations about how we want certain aspects of civilized society to be. And that's what a government is. That's what government is. Otherwise, you get anarchy. So, I don't believe that I'm violating any tenets of libertarianism by telling you that when your actions could directly impact the health or safety of other people unbeknownst to them, then I believe that government intervention can be appropriate in those instances. And I don't have a problem with seatbelt laws for people and drivers. And motorcycle helmets are a different deal. And the only restriction that I would put there is if you choose to not wear a motorcycle helmet, then I do not believe that there should be any chance that any of my government taxpayer money go to assist you in any sort of rehabilitation efforts or any medical issues that come up as a result of you getting your brain smushed like a watermelon on the pavement.
And if you want to not wear a helmet, then that I have no issue with the insurance company saying, okay, your rate is going to be this much higher then. And if that's the case, I don't think my tax money should be going to other people's health issues anyway. That should be your money or your insurance. And if you injure yourself, you've made an agreement with your insurance company that I'm going to pay higher rates so I don't have to wear a helmet. And that should be all on you anyway.
3449 says, by that logic, you can mandate vaccines, dude. How do you not get this? It was not a vaccine. That was never a vaccine. What came out of COVID-19 was not a vaccine. It was medicine. And you should not be able to mandate medicine for individuals. And there was zero evidence from anyone that looked that suggested that taking the vaccine, what they call the vaccine, would in any way benefit other people.
They literally admitted that it did not stop.
That it was lies.
It didn't prevent infection, and it didn't stop transmission.
So, I mean, now if you tell me that there is a pandemic, well, I guess I could come up with a scenario. I don't know that I want to involve in it now, but I could come up with a scenario where there's a pandemic and you've got to take this pill, otherwise you're going to affect everybody out across the planet. Maybe. I mean, I was always a big believer in herd immunity, 3449, in the sense that you had to, the natural science dictated that you had to reach a level of herd immunity, and by its very nature, you were putting those extremes at risk in doing so. So you protect the extremes, the elderly, the infirm, the young people, those with compromised positions. You protect those by isolating those individual cases. But you do that individually. You do not en masse demand that people take a vaccine that, by the way, works directly against the concept of herd immunity, which is the natural order of things when it comes to that sort of thing. So Thomas is next up in Franklin. Hey, Thomas, what's going on?
Hey, buddy, love your show.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
No, I ain't got nothing against the seatbelt law. I've got an exception, though.
What's that?
I've had both of my hips replaced, and when I wear it, I cannot hardly stand it being around my hip.
Wait, so you have a medical issue?
Yes, I've had both hips completely replaced.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Several miles, and it hurts so bad I can't stand it. So I don't wear one.
Well, I don't blame you. I probably would be in the same place.
Okay. Well, can I ask you one other question?
Sure.
In Florida, the assassination attempt, how come the snipers missed the guy when they shot at him?
That's a good question.
Ain't nobody said nothing about that.
I think they shot, and that's a pretty good question, Mr. Thomas, and I appreciate it. I think that the reports that I heard was that the Secret Service agents that were on Hole 6 at Trump International, they did not actually see the guy. They did not see Ralph. They saw the barrel of the gun because this guy was stupid enough to expose his position prior to being ready to shoot. Thank God. Thank God he was. But they saw the barrel of a gun sticking out of the hedgerow, and they fired into the hedgerow at the point that they saw the barrel of the gun. So I could probably excuse maybe missing them or missing him as a result of not actually seeing the individuals that was holding the gun because of the hedge line. Now, that's just the official report that we're getting. I don't know, believe that at your own peril, right?